The White Sox lost to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 last night. Wellington Castillo hit a pair of home runs, but it wasn't enough. Miguel Gonzalez takes the hill against J.A. Happ at 6:07. And the Bulls will face the Charlotte Hornets tonight at the United Center. Tip-offs at 7 as the Bulls look for their third straight win. This update is also brought to you by the University of Chicago men's baseball. The next home game broadcast will be April 7th when they take on Central at 12 and 3 p.m. For more information, visit athletics.uchicago.edu. I'm the Goon, and you're listening to Chicagoland Sports Radio. It's not just sports, it's a way of life. Live on Chicagoland Sports Radio, it's the Penalty Box with 3 guys, 2 hours of hockey, and 1 Goontastic show.
Seabrook alive. 42, here's Panera. Final seconds. Panera walks in, scores. Hat-trick goal. Here come the Hats. In front of that, they score. It's him again. He's at it again. Back to Seabrook.
It's only a game. Sometimes you have to be mad.
Back ahead comes Seabrook, but it's stopped. Is clear. Atkinson sends it wide. Misses the hat-trick second time. Puts it in with 8/10 of a second left. Here's a shot. Scores off the top of the circle. Willie Nylander ends a gross.
Now, here's the Iceman, Hot Take Nikos, and the Goon. That's right. It is Tuesday. The Goon is always with you, and Hot Take Nikos.
What up, what up, what up?
What's going on?
What's going on, dude?
Not much.
How was your Easter?
It was pretty good. Can't complain. I got to, hang out with my niece and nephew and just go ahead and hide Easter eggs. So,
did you find any?
They found them.
You didn't hide them and then try and find them? No? Okay.
No. I left that to my mom and dad. How was your Easter, though?
My Easter was good. We ordered some pizza. Put ham on it. I guess it's kind of Easter.
Did you put pineapple on it, too?
No.
All right.
God,
good.
no.
All right.
Nah, nothing like that. But it was a fun time. Just always good to hang out with the family and get that kind of thing going.
Well, good, man. I'm glad you had a good weekend.
Yes, sir.
So we got a pretty interesting show here today. I think I'm underselling that like crazy, but
yeah.
Do you want to tell our listeners what you were able to set up?
So, Blackhawks fans, that's Chicagoland Sports Radio. So it's a Chicago-centric show. So I figured, why not get one of the best Anthem singers, I say, in the world. Jim Cornelison is going to be coming on the show today. So 240 is coming on. We're going to be talking with him about how he became an Anthem singer and just everything about him. It's awesome. He's the Anthem singer. He's the guy who hypes people up. So I'm excited for it.
You know what? I'm kind of wondering, like, if he still gets chills singing the anthem just with all the fans. I'm kind of curious about that.
I can't think he doesn't. That's one of the best jobs in the world. You get to sing in front of. You get the height. I always say the United Center. Fans are one of the best. I've been to a couple different arenas, and it's just the anthem for it. You just get chills listening to it because you hear this guy with his big booming voice, and he's like, "Oh, it's just so good," and the crowd makes it 10 times better as well.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into a little playoff talk today.
Oh yes.
Start off in the Western Conference because there are a lot of things that happening. Not only that, but we have some unanswered questions on what exactly is going to happen because this is the last week of the regular season.
Yeah, this I want to say this. I say last season was at the end of the season. You didn't know whether Tampa was going to make it or Toronto was going to make it. And it was just the East really. The West was pretty much set. It was done for a couple weeks. This week or this year. It's there's a lot. I wouldn't say I feel like you're on your toes, but you're kind of saying, I thought he was going to make it. Oh, guess not. I guess he's in. One day someone's in, one day someone's out. It's kind of, you have to, if you're not checking day by day, you're not going to know who's in.
Right. It's kind of like musical chairs in a way.
Yeah. When you're saying it like that, I guess, did you want these 2 points? Oh, no, you take them. Okay. You want an overtime win? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. The top of the divisions, and we actually had a couple more teams clinch last night. in Minnesota and San Jose, which I think in the grand scheme of things, if you're going to clinch last night, was the perfect time to do it.
Right. And I think it's kind of funny with being in the West. It's like you have the Flames who are trying to compete for a playoff spot. Their last 10 games, they're 2-8. So literally, they're like, oh, since we didn't get in, I guess you guys can take these points. I heard that you're trying to get over some. Oh yeah, no problem. Take that.
Are we are we inspiring an exhibit meme here?
I think.
Yo, dog! I heard you were trying to get into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. The whole Western Conference has been. I feel like there's just been so much disappointment in the Western Conference this year between Dallas, Chicago, the Oilers, the Flames, like wow, and the Coyotes as to some extent. I mean that bandwagon was done within the first week. But I mean, generally speaking, the West has been a gigantic disappointment.
Wait, the Coyotes bandwagon?
Oh come on! When they signed Stefan, they got Jalmerson, and I mean they got I forget
Ranta.
That's a pretty big upgrade. I figured and they had Goligoski on defense too, Ekman Larson. I thought, and their offense, they had Duclair, Domi. I thought they were gonna let Strome play. I guess not. But I was on the bandwagon. I said that they're gonna make the playoffs. I thought they might make second in the Pacific. So I jumped on that bandwagon, and obviously that means no. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this last half of the season they've been pretty good.
Yeah, and I actually had them winning the West.
So you did jump on the bandwagon. What are you talking about? That's not even no excuse.
I was trying to play the hot take card at the beginning of the season. Okay. And if you have an opinion on today's show, 773-966-2494. This is the penalty box, as we're talking Western Conference playoff teams here. I got to tell you though, as good as Vegas has been, they had a there was a post about Vegas on Facebook, and some guy, clearly not a hockey fan, because he came out and said, "Oh, I've been a Vegas fan for years."
Well, man.
And I knew they were going to make the playoffs after struggling so much, and I'm like,
they've been around for 2 years.
Yeah, if that.
Well, technically, I mean, they were born like 3 years ago. So he's been a fan for years. He's a true OG.
Yeah, I guess.
Unless you bought the first season tickets, you haven't been a fan for years. You were part of those 10,000 people.
Tell that to the Iceman.
All right. Yeah, but I mean, again, the Western Conference. I think. Who do you got? Who do you think is going to get an Avalanche or Blues? Because the Avalanche right now have 93 points and the Blues have 92.
I mean, the thing about the Blues is they have a pretty interesting predicament they're in.
What is it?
Because they have a game in hand with Colorado. But as we saw last night, things just started to snowball with them against the Washington Capitals. And I'll say this for Mike Yeo, even though I'm not Mike Yeo's biggest fan. I've never... It's nothing against him personally, but I watched the way Minnesota quit on him.
Yep.
But... St. Louis has 2 games with Chicago, and then they end the season against Colorado.
Yeah, they have a weird. It's one of again, you look at the West. This whole schedule this year, I feel like it's so random. Especially, I mean, it's kind of hyped up towards the end here, but I feel like how are you gonna have them? Who are they going against? They're going against who are they going against for the last game?
Colorado.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you have these 2 teams, obviously in the Central. I think they were planning on it for that kind of thing, to have the 2 Central teams go against each other, right? But then you have Nashville, who's all done going against Central teams. It's like it's the last week of the season. What if they run a playoff hunt? You're really not going to have them going against Central teams too?
And you mentioned last year, scheduling-wise. All right, and I kind of wish last year was like this year per se. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, when you look at the Blues schedule compared to the other teams trying to get into the playoffs, it's rather easy.
Right.
And it's nothing against the Blackhawks, but they haven't really sort of been playing up to par this season. And last year, the Blackhawks and Blues were done in late February.
Yeah, I know that. Again, last season, it was like everyone kind of cruised. It was like, okay, you're going to make the playoffs? Good. I feel like everyone's predictions were kind of correct for the regular season. Everyone kind of got in. This season is such a big surprise because, like I said, the Western Conference is full of such disappointments. It's like I'm excited to see, hopefully the Avalanche make it in. I'm excited to see, no one talks about them, but I think the Sharks are a dark horse in the playoffs. I'm excited to see a lot of these new teams coming in.
Have you not been listening to anything I said the past month?
Yeah.
Because I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I've always I've always been a kind of a fan of the Sharks. Always felt like they're like the West Washington Capitals. I think I said that before, but it's like both of the teams. I go into the East too. Capitals are flying under the radar. Sharks are flying under the radar. I'm just saying right now, if it's a Sharks Capitals final, how exciting would that be?
That actually would be very exciting.
That would be awesome.
Not exactly my final pick, but give you that in a little bit. The thing about Colorado is, and I want your expertise on this.
Okay.
All right. But even if Colorado gets into the playoffs, how far do you think they go without Semyon Varlamov?
Well, Bernier's been a very capable backup, and I saw Colorado Avalanche's Twitter went mad when he went down. But it's like, you guys have been here before without Varlamov. He's been so injury prone the last couple years. It's like you guys kind of been grown to have a backup be good. And this year, Bernier's been one of the top players, and I really do believe with him in the playoffs, I think you guys are safe. He's a good 1B situation there. So, and didn't they win last night too?
No, they lost. They lost in LA.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess that kind of defeats my purpose. But at the same time, I mean, I don't think you're in such dire need in goaltending. I think it's more your defense with Eric Johnson getting injured. And I mean, that defense, you have Zadorov, Barry, and I mean, I don't know, maybe they can hold the boat, but at the same time, I think it's their defense is more the issue than the goaltending.
Well, I mean, and that too is that, you think about their offense as well with Rantanen, you got McKinnon, you got all these guys who are capable of playing up to that level. And I think you're going to see more and more guys step up going into the playoffs.
But who's going to get you that puck up from the back end? I mean, not that Eric Johnson's a huge offensive dynamo, but at the same time, I feel, you still need to have those horses who can go back there and play a full. You got to go against a team 7 times. Keep in mind, and someone else goes down in that blue line, it's pretty weak.
I will say that is true.
Yeah, I mean, the playoffs are even. They're not even guaranteed a playoff spot yet. So any potential, it got harder for them to make the playoffs with Varlamov and Johnson going down. So I don't know how I feel about them being in the playoffs. I'd rather see St. Louis. I feel like they're a more playoff ready team. But hey, so if you get in, you get in. You're in the show.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to be all the time we have for this first segment. Well, when we come back, we're going to break down the rest of the teams who have made the playoffs and maybe give you guys a little bit of insight on who has the potential to go the furthest. You're listening to The Penalty Box with Hot Take Nikos and the Goon here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
I got started at IMS here as an instructor a couple years back after I had heard a couple of people I worked with were also instructors here. I'm always here if you need help with developing what you're passionate about. And that's what most people come here for. They have a passion. They want to do something. They want to do radio play-by-play. They want to do sports talk. They want to do updates, whatever it may be. My name is Freddie Hubner. I work at ESPN 1000 as a host and sports anchor, and I am IMS.
Rainier to half and a drive to right. Go, baby. What were you saying, Jimmy? Yes, sir. Go! The season has begun.
Hey, it's Ben from Late Nights with Ben. The Cubs are off to a hot start and baseball season has officially begun. Tune in every Thursday night throughout the season to get Cubs and White Sox analysis. Also, the NFL draft is right around the corner, so we'll see if the Bears can build on an already busy offseason. So tune in to Late Nights with Ben every Thursday night from 9 to 10 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
April showers, they bring the flowers that bloom in May.
That's right, sports fans. April is here, which means 2 things: baseball season and playoffs. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? You heard it here first. The NHL and NBA playoffs are just around the corner. Tune in to the Nightcap every Monday night from 9 to 10 p.m. with Tim and Ben to catch all your latest playoff news and baseball action. Only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Hey, Chicagoland Prodigy here.
Don't get an uproar, but rare store with us as we take you home in the Final Four. Make sure to join me, Charles Paragerici, Sid the Kid, Ralph Hill, or Corey Barber every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. and on deck as it's opening week in baseball.
Backhand.
Don't forget to miss out on all the NFL updates in the offseason
Welcome to the internet, my friend. How can I help you?
and more. Only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Oh, my!
Are you ready?
The Rising Feminist Wrestling Show gives fresh opinions about WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, WrestleMania 34, and of course, so much more. This is made from a fan to the fan. The Rising Feminist Wrestling Show is more than just highlights. It is where you can hear the honest opinions about wrestling, promos, and its wrestlers. So come join me, Stephanie, on the latest in wrestling every Thursday from 2 to 4 on Chicagoland Sports Radio. It is not just sports, it's a way of life.
Previously on the penalty box. With 1 week left of the season, who's going to the playoffs?
Last game of the year, Brent. Can't hold anything back now.
Find out who we're taking this week in Golden Knights Gambling Gurus.
And it's going to be legendary.
Join us for 3 guys, 2 hours of hockey, and 1 goon-tastic show. It's the penalty box with Hot Take Nikos, the Iceman, and the Goon. Tuesdays from 2 to 4 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Hey guys, it's Choco from the R&R Show here, and we switch to a brand new day of the week. Now we're on Mondays, 4 to 6 p.m., and join us as we have to discuss opening week for baseball. And let's not forget our second hour as we switch gears and talk about esports, which will include the finale of the NorCal Regional Tournament for the top fighting games. And finally, we're discussing League of Legends' crazy playoffs for the North American LCS. So once again, join us Mondays, 4 to 6 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Get back ESPN 1000 because it's time for the Raphael Young Show. No playoffs for the Bulls and Blackhawks, but we do have the Cubs. And the White Sox.
That ball hit hard. Giller's head way back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yeah.
Tune in every Monday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. It's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Time to kick off your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Tom Waddle, ESPN 1000.
Don't waste another minute in a career you don't love. You can be the next great announcer, DJ, producer, or TV reporter. You'll learn key skills from industry pros while working with professional equipment on air and behind the scenes. Still need to keep the 9-to-5 job? Their flexible class schedules can work around any schedule. Short on cash? They have very affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. You'll have access to amazing internships and job placement assistance when you graduate at top radio and TV stations like ESPN. Learn more at beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
That's right. We're back here on the penalty box with the Goon and Hot Take Nikos.
What up, what up, what up?
What up? All right. So continuing our Western Conference talk here, we're going to stay a little bit in the Central here in this segment. We talked a little bit about the St. Louis Blues earlier. What do you think about the Minnesota Wild's chances?
I think they're good. I think that them coming into this playoffs, I think they've been one of those teams where it's like, hey, if we they're one of those hardworking teams. I just don't see. I don't know. I've always been one of the people who said they're always been kind of a disappointment. Like they'll make it there, you get kind of hyped up for them, but then they never. It's kind of like a prove it to me kind of team, you know? Like, hey, you guys can make the playoffs, great. You guys can have all these points, great. But can you guys actually win?
True. And not only are they fighting against the so-called rest of the world, it seems like, but you know, they have a coach who hasn't been known to win.
Yeah, that too. What a guy! I mean, the guy can't win a series or win a cup for life of him. But I mean, he's a great regular season coach, so I'll give you that. One of the best, actually. So I don't know. I hope I wouldn't want to say I hope that Minnesota does something because I'm really not interested in that team to say the least. I just feel like it's if they make it in there, I will be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not expecting anything. I mean, they have good goaltending. I mean, Dubnyk's he's been better the last 2 games, but realistically, the last little bit he's been not so well.
No,
but, I mean, they have good depth scoring. Their defense is Ryan Suter, so. Yeah, I don't know. I can't peg and say that they're gonna go anywhere. Maybe a second round, but then again, that Central is pretty plugged. So I don't know. I think it's Nashville's to win.
And you just mentioned the last 10 for some of the other teams. The Wild are 5-2-3 in their last 10. So I mean, it's not horrible.
Average.
It's not horrible. However, you're still able to get points.
Yeah, I mean, look at the teams below them too. You got Avalanche 4-5-1. Blues have been good. They're 6-3-1, but their losses have come in the last 3. They've lost 3 in a row. So I mean, and then you got Stars are 2-6-2, and then Blackhawks are 3-5-2. So I take it with a grain of salt with how good some of these with some of the Central teams are, which again kind of makes up for the Jets and Predators, who are the 2 teams above them, kind of feasting on how bad the West has been this year. And I mean, it really shows now. Let's say the Jets right now are 49, 20, and 10. They have 108 points, and then the Wild are 10 points beneath them.
Right. And, you see some of these teams that are in the playoffs that are taking advantage.
Exactly. And like the Predators, too. Predators 51, 17, 11 with 113 points. And, I mean, they're 6-3-1 their last 10, too. So it's kind of like, hey, you're feasting on how bad the Western Conference is. And, I mean, that's why the point totals are so spread out. You have 3 teams who have over 100 points: the Vegas, Jets, and Predators.
And speaking of the Jets, because I think they're actually my pick to go the furthest out of the Central teams in the playoffs. I really like Winnipeg for the simple fact that they have a good offense, who it seems like have been a little bit shaky at times. You go from scoring 6 goals to 2, back up to 5.
But they have the defense to play that kind of game.
Right.
So, I mean, they definitely do. You have Scheifele, Wheeler, Ehlers, Laine, Stasny. Like, that's a potent offense. And, I mean, on defense, you got Bufflin, who can put some points up. You have Myers, who's great defensively. You have Chariot, who Blake Wheeler and him got into a fight at practice. So, I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, you got them on defense. Enstrom's still a good offensive threat. And I mean, they have a good top. And I even mentioned Trouba. Trouba is great too. So
when healthy, yes.
When healthy, yeah. And I mean, and net they got Hellebuck, and I think they're the backup's Hutchinson right now. They have a good They have a decent goaltending duo. So I'm not terribly upset with, or I'm not terribly I wouldn't be. I would say that they're a good team. They're a good team and they're gonna have to go against Nashville or Winnipeg. Or it's going to be Winnipeg and Nashville going against each other in the second round. So either way, they got to go through Nashville, who is the team above them right now, who's been playing some pretty decent hockey, too. So I mean, they're 6-3-1. Jets are 8-2-0. Yeah. These teams are messing around. It's the Central team's I believe is gonna make it to the Stanley Cup final.
And then you got Nashville, who it seems like Philip Forsberg is starting to to play lights out hockey.
Right. That guy. I've always I said a couple of weeks ago, the Predators are a top team, but yet they don't have anybody who has 60 points. And I've always said they don't really have a game breaker. And I know Forsberg's a great player, but I don't see him as one of those top game breakers. He's been playing like that these last couple games. I don't know what happened. I don't know who's been feeding him lunch or breakfast, but he's been coming into these games feisty and ready to eat that puck up and throw it in the net. So
maybe they got some fights going on in the locker room.
They don't need that. I don't see Roman Josi picking fights tonight, buddy. He's definitely not going to be going up to Forsberg. You got to start scoring some goals,
right? And just to speak to Nashville for a second, Pekka Rinne has been good and consistently good all season long.
Oh yes, he's a Vezina. He's winning the Vezina.
You think so?
I know he has to. I mean, who else he's got? Who else he gonna go against?
I mean,
who you got? I don't know anybody. Vasilevsky's done. I can't even name you a second one because it was between Vasi in Tampa and him, and obviously Bassey's falling off, and Renad's rising.
You can't throw Scott Foster out of that mix though.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, Scott Foster for best. He has the best stats in the NHL.
Through one game.
Through one game.
I was gonna post that to our Twitter at Penalty Box CSR that a guy who's played 14 minutes in the NHL has the best stats in the league. But and that's the thing about all these playoff teams is that even the teams who aren't yet clinched into the playoffs, they have good goaltending. And even though they have their starters get hurt, most of them have a capable backup.
Right, and again, it kind of brings back the old, the old adage, you build from the back end up. And I mean, look at all the teams who are in the playoffs right now. And for the Western Conference, Jets, great goaltending. Predators, great goaltending. Wild, great goaltending. And then you get the people who are on the bubble, like the Blues and Avalanche, who kind of have question marks in it. Golden Knights, great goaltending. Sharks, Jones. I think he's a little bit above average, but great goaltending.
Yeah, and then with Vegas, I mean, you have 6 capable goaltenders that they've used all season long.
Isn't that weird how they had all their goaltenders go down, but it never had an emergency situation like Scott Foster kind of thing? I don't know. I found that kind of funny how they had all these goaltenders go down, but Chicago ends up with the guy.
And speaking to that real quick, Vegas talking about how they used 6 goaltenders this season. If you can believe this, and they mentioned this during the Hawks game the other night, the Hawks have actually used 6 as well, but it's like a tale of 2 seasons. The Golden Knights are a very capable and solid hockey team to where if you have to use 6 goaltenders, if you're the Blackhawks and you have any question marks, you're not going to win.
Yeah, and I mean, there's that. I mean, you either have really good goaltending depth or you have Crawford. or you have one.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, is what it is there. Again, after the commercial break, we'll be getting into the Western Conference really quickly, and then we'll have our special guest coming in.
I know I'm the countdown to Jim is very exciting here.
It's almost midnight.
Right? Almost midnight. I like that. That's actually very catchy. Very good on you for that, for coming up with that. And it's nice to see that we were able to book a guest for today. But yeah, so we'll finish up this conversation after the sports update here. Stay tuned. This is the Penalty Box, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Chicagoland Sports Radio Sports Update.
At 2:30, I'm the Goon with your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. For more information on careers in broadcasting, go to BeOnAir.com. The Blackhawks have today off, but they will play the Blues tomorrow night as they only have 3 games left. The Cubs lost 1-0 to the Cincinnati Reds yesterday. Tyler Chatwood had himself a pretty good outing, except for walking 6 in 6 innings. The 2 teams face off again at 5:40. John Lester will be on the mound against Cody Reed. The White Sox lost to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 last night. Wellington Castillo hit a pair of home runs, but it wasn't enough. Miguel Gonzalez takes the hill against J.A. Happ at 6:07, and the Bulls will face the Charlotte Hornets tonight at the United Center. Tip-off is at 7, and the Bulls look for their 3rd straight win. This update is also brought to you by the University of Chicago Men's Baseball. The next home game broadcast will be April 7th when they take on Central at 12 and 3 p.m. For more information, visit athletics.uchicago.edu. I'm the Goon, and you're listening to Chicagoland Sports Radio. It's not just sports, it's a way of life.
That Jersey Shore on.
Oh, geez. Speaking of which, quickly, did you see that new the new promo for it's like a Jersey Shore reboot, the Family Vacation?
Yeah, I saw it.
I never wanted to break my TV so bad.
I've never been so excited. I love Jersey Shore.
Oh,
it wasn't like Snooki, Ronnie, Jenny. Oh man, that's great. I can't wait for it. Are you serious? Come on. Good day, whistle. No. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We're a hockey show.
Yeah.
In case anybody's wondering, this is the Penalty Box.
Right.
A hockey show. We should just do a show about Jersey Shore.
You can do that. You can start your own Jersey Shore podcast. All right, I'm not down with that.
You're not down for it? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, anyway, let's jump right into the Eastern Conference really quick. We got the Bruins on top, who have stormed to the front of the pack over the Tampa Bay Lightning. Really quick, I just want to talk about before we get our call, the Toronto Maple Leafs getting 103 points. You know, that's a franchise record.
They for the first time since 2003,
2004.
Okay.
They've been a team for 100 years, people. This is their franchise year. I know, pity clap. It's crazy. People don't get it that the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a crazy season for them. Nobody's talking about it. It's like I always want to compare. People are like, oh, the Hawks are not in the playoffs. Woe is me, man. The Toronto, this is their franchise year, 100 years in, 101 years in, and they're finally getting a 48-win season, and they're finally getting this 103 points. This is their first time.
You know, and not only that, not only good for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but good for the original six.
Yes, I mean this is a rough season for them. I mean, Canadians are out, Red Wings are out, Blackhawks are out, Rangers are out.
Yeah. It's up to Toronto now.
Toronto and Boston.
To Boston, yeah.
Oh yeah, and one of them's gonna be out in the first round. Maybe. They maybe. Depends on who ends up in this. If it ends up being Bruins and Maple Leafs in the first round, hey, that's a great series too. Revenge. So, but yeah, I don't know who I got. If it's a Lightning and Maple Leafs series, that's it's gonna end up being like 7-4, 6-5 every game.
And not only that, but that is a 7-game series. Unless something like really, really, really bad happens, I'm not opposed to seeing a 7-game series. You know, if I'm going to take time to watch other teams in the playoffs, I want them to be good.
Fun series. It will be an awesome series to watch. I mean, two of the most high-powered offenses in the game going against each other. And I mean, the goaltending has been kind of shaky for both teams the last couple games. So hey, if both of them decide to just let loose, I'm good for a good old 1980s playoff series, like the Oilers all over again. Man, Nylander and Austin Matthews last night was nuts. The chemistry they had. They were throwing cross-eyes passes to each other. Willie was flicking the stick up, throwing in it was nuts last night.
Oh yeah, it was something to see. That's for sure. All right, we're gonna have to leave that there because we are on Gym Watch.
Yeah.
So stay tuned as we get set to have a conversation with the best Anthem man ever. You're listening to The Penalty Box, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Time to kick off your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000.
People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
Nothing moves the blob. You know how John Cena for the past few weeks has been calling out Undertaker, telling him to do something? Hey, Kawhi, say something. Say something. I'm giving up on you. They're giving up on you. It's time for the first ever Bob Blob Show freestyle. You ready? Psych, I ain't doing that. Tune into the Bob Blob Show with me, Bob Blob, Wednesdays from 11 to 1 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
After an exciting tournament, we turn the page to what should be an epic baseball season. I'm Jay Pfeiffer, and myself and Lakina McGee bring you the latest news and notes from around the major leagues. With the NBA playoffs and the NFL draft approaching, you can't afford to miss all the coverage on Second City Sports every Thursday from 12 to 2 p.m. Only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Chicago sports in 2017 may have let us down, but 2018 figures to be a whole lot better, starting with the Loyola Chicago Ramblers making it to the Final Four.
And the Chicago Cubs are poised to have an amazing season this year as well.
Also, the Chicago Bears have made moves to make themselves stronger for the 2018 season.
Get your favorite Chicago sports news every Wednesday on the Chief Seats from 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Iceman, for the crime of never being on the bench warmers, by the power invested in me by ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life. You have been damaged. Balance has been restored to the bench warmers. We'll have Big Meech and sometimes the Iceman. Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. It's here. It's finally here. Opening day. The 2018 MLB season is upon us. And here on Deep in the Dugout, you know we are beyond excited. We will break everything down from sacks, cups, and everything else around the league. Tune in to Deep in the Dugout Mondays, 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Santa Maria!
Tune into Students of the Game, where Dr. Joseph Gregory and Dr. Christopher Rouse know how to overcome heartbreak.
They broke my heart, and I'm heartbroken. But I'm here doing this show because I'm trying to be a professional. Huh? Not for you. Not for you. I had hugs yesterday. Not for you.
Students of the Game, Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Sean Land with the most action-packed 2 hours on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the Fightley Report. On June 9th, UFC returns to Chicago for pay-per-view, the first time in 10 years. UFC 225, headlined by middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, defending his title against Yoel Romero in a rematch. Will the Reaper be victorious again, or will the Soldier of God become champion for the first time? We will break down the card and have exclusive interviews leading up to this event. The Fight Report, Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
I've been in the radio and broadcasting business a long time, more than 3 decades, and I thought, if I spread my knowledge and shared what I know about the business with a lot of young minds, maybe I could get some of those people involved. And my dad talked to schools, and I thought I could do that too, and I could do it all in one place at Illinois Media School. I've been having a great time. I tell everybody I'm learning as much from the students as they learn from me. I am Eddie Volkman, and I am IMS.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the show. This is Hot Take Nikos and James Zagoon. Right now, we have special guest Jim Cornelison on the phone. What's going on, Jim?
Hey, talking to you guys, man. Having a good morning.
Good.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How was your Easter going? Or how did it go?
It was relaxing. And that was nice. Talked to a lot of friends and family. My kids don't live here in Chicago. They're around the country. So, spent a lot of time on the phone just kind of talking to people. Took a day off.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's always good to, even if they're not around, just having them on the phone, being able to talk to them. It's always a good kind of thing to do.
I had a busy few days as a run up to Easter. So Blackhawks games. I went down to the University of Illinois for charity hockey game down there, which was a lot of fun. And so then I was out fairly late Saturday night. And so when Sunday came around, I had enough socializing. It was nice to just stop.
Yeah, I can imagine having to talk with everybody for 3 days straight and finally getting to sit home here. You're kind of just like, all right, and done. I feel you. All right. Well, I know there's a couple new hockey fans here listening to the show. I just want to kind of let you know who this fine gentleman is. Jim Cornelison. He is the national anthem singer for the Chicago Blackhawks. At the beginning of every game, the lights get dark. He comes out on that little red carpet and he starts singing his heart out. And every game, you go down to any Blackhawks game, you're sitting in there and you get hyped up for the game, even though it's a national anthem for the USA. You feel like you're a part of it. You're with him. And I just want to say, thank you for I went to my first Blackhawks game was maybe 8 years ago, and you were actually the anthem singer, and I was so excited after hearing you sing, and I feel like that's what a lot of fans come and they remember you singing, which is
people haven't been there. If they haven't been there, right? It's really hard for people to understand what is happening, because since 1985, people have cheered the anthem, and it's a really powerful thing. And I started doing all of them in 2008 and 2008-9 season was the first time I did all of them, and then in 2009-10 we added the active duty military person and the veterans on ice next to me, and the fans. It really has brought the cheering into focus. Those people are introduced. They're them and their families. They come to the game. The audience loves it that they're out there, and it's an exciting thing, and it's very hard to communicate it in words unless somebody's actually been to a game and been able to experience it.
Right. Yeah. No. And I definitely agree. Being there, experiencing it, it's top 10, no doubt.
Yeah, and watching it on TV and then seeing it in person, like both equally good, but it's like a whole nother experience to actually be there at the United Center when you are able to sing it.
You just can't. Yeah, you just can't capture it unless you're there live. I've tried to find recordings that would capture that sound of the crowd, and also the actual singing of the anthem. And either the microphone is too close to me and it comes straight out of me and you can't hear the crowd well, or if the microphones are too close to the crowd, it just you just hear the people around that microphone cheering real loud. So it's a very difficult thing to capture what that atmosphere is.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Let me tell you, when you bring out that point to the flag part, and there everybody does it, and it's not. We get so loud, it's craziness. It's everyone's in the stand, everyone's standing up, and as soon as you do that point, I think everyone's just like, yeah. They don't even know where the flag is. They just start pointing up in the air. It doesn't even matter. You're just like.
That started in 2009. I was out on the ice and I went to my seat, and there's these three ladies who sat behind me. They're older, but really devoted Blackhawks fans, and they always pick on me. And they were a lot of fun, and they were like, "Hey, we didn't see a hand gesture today." And I'm like, "What do you mean I didn't see a hand gesture?" I said, "I did it." And go, "Well, I don't think so. You need to do it next time so we can see it." So I said, "All right, I'm going to do that for you." And so I had done like a really understated hand gesture where I just kind of indicated the flag.
The flag was there.
My hand a little bit. Yeah, and so I went a little higher so they could see it, to make sure they could see it, and then I could go back and pick on them. So, well, they complained they still didn't see it.
Right.
Falling asleep during the anthem.
Everyone else saw it though.
Yeah, they're like I said, they were older, and so I treat them with a little bit of reverence. They treat me with a little bit of reverence, and we're all happy about that. But so I said, "Look, you guys can stay awake. I'm going to do it even higher next time." So I went out and I did a little higher, and the crowd kind of went, "Whoa!" That was interesting. So next time I tried it again, and the crowd did the same thing, and I was like, "Oh, game on, man!" So I started doing it kind of very dramatically. It's a great moment, kind of a high point in the anthem. The crowd really gets loud there.
Yeah, we definitely love it. All right. Being that you're very involved with veterans organizations, what is it like to be an honorary squadron commander of the USAF Band of Mid-America?
So that was an incredible honor, and what they asked me to do was help get some Air Force presence in the actual city of Chicago. It's easier for them to get in the suburbs and around the rural areas of the state, but actually in the city of Chicago is harder. They have an incredible music program in the Air Force. I think it's kind of goes back to Benny Goodman when he was in the Air Force, and so I helped to get some interviews with local TV stations, and they did a number of performances with Lyric Opera of Chicago in order to kick off their season out at Grant Park at Millennium Park, and it's just been really, really cool to be part of it. They actually invited me down to Scott Air Force Base, and I mean, just showed me everything that they're doing down there, and the nomination came from a 4-star general, General Ray Johns, who I met on ice at the United Center.
Oh, okay.
And he's a music fan, and it turned out he was a drummer in college.
Oh, okay.
And we just kind of hit it off.
How awesome is that?
It is really awesome. I've developed some great friendships with people in the military and veterans, you know, and you get to know this kind of human side of these people. We see them in uniforms, and we tend to maybe dehumanize them some, but when you realize these are just guys, you know, who are going out and doing something they believe in and working hard, and you know, they're good people. I mean, it's a good thing to be part of, and a real privilege to be able to get to know these people.
Yeah, no doubt. And speaking, for me, I actually have a friend who came out of the military who has PTSD, and I did a little interview with him because he's going through a whole new kind of treatment for it. And you know, he was like, a lot of these people who come out of the military, they really don't feel like they have a home and with the civilian life. And you know, I feel like for me, I work with the community here and there with some veterans, and you know, it's so good to hear that people want to help, and all the work that you do, it's really appreciated. It doesn't go unseen.
My experience with doing the anthem and people in the military and the veterans is that, you know, when we get up there and we do the anthem and the people are cheering, you know, it's the most requested event in the country from the USO by these military guys to come out there on the ice of the Blackhawks game and be there for the anthem. And it's like a 4 or 5 year waiting list. It's crazy. Wow. And I'll get fan mail, you know, and like one of them says, "Dear Jim, thank you so much for what you do. My son's in the Navy. Every time I go to a Blackhawk game, I feel like 20,000 people are cheering for him." Yeah. So I love that email because it just speaks to what it touches inside.
Right, what it means.
And if his son dies, or if his son comes home without a leg, every time he comes to that Blackhawk game, that anthem, that reception, it reminds people of the meaning of their sacrifice, and that people care, and that's like so important for these guys to be able to wake up and know that they matter, and what their sacrifice has been, and what it means, and it helps to get reattached to that. So, I just feel like that's something really important for all of us to think about. You know, you see that guy in a bar or at a coffee shop. You know, like the other day I was in a cafe and I bought a guy and his wife their breakfast. It was hardly anything, but he had a Navy hat on. I went over and asked him if he served, and he'd been in 18 years or something like that through Vietnam. And you know, just thanks for your service, man. And I picked up the breakfast. I mean, I'll do stuff like that all the time just because I feel like it's so. Yeah, just something to say, like, hey, you matter, you know.
Yeah, something to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any upcoming events for the organizations you're involved with that you think our listeners should know about?
Well, yeah, sure. The Indianapolis 500 is the biggest one, right? May 27th. I'll be there singing back home again in Indiana. It's my first time to come back for that.
Nice.
With that last year. And then, of course, the very much loved Jim Neighbors passed this last year, but he hadn't done it for a few years in there. Yeah, it's just a real honor to be asked back to do that again. And then, I don't know, we'll see the Arlington Million, which is the biggest race out here at the Arlington Race Course in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR, the Chicagoland Speedway. I'll do the Sprint Cup kickoff on July 1.
Are you a big racing fan? Like, are you a big racing fan?
Oh, I've developed a real appreciation for it. I have a lot to learn still, but I keep absorbing it. And there's really something to. Look, I was a kid, man. I grew up playing Hot Wheels. Come on.
I know.
I remember watching the Indy 500 come on every year, and I'm in Washington State, right?
Right.
I remember Mario Andretti and some of those guys. You get real excited about them, and then I don't know. I can remember having the what do you call them? the electric, racetrack.
Oh yeah,
right,
the
with
hot
cars
tracks.
like that.
Yeah, hot track thing called.
Yeah. Get him, all that stuff. And so I go to the race, not having thought about racing since I was a kid. And I went to Chicagoland, the first big race I was at for the Sprint Cup kickoff back in 2010, I think. And I'm doing the Anthem, so I'm on the infield. I'm being treated very well, on lots of access. And they fire up the engines to those cars, and all of a sudden the inside of my body's shaking, my heart rate's going up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get this.
Yeah, I think the sound of a fast car getting revved up, I think, brings out all the kids in all of us. All right, well,
oh my God.
I know it's crazy. Jim, so I gotta, and before we head out here, I gotta ask you. So it's 2015. You're getting ready to sing Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final for the Chicago Blackhawks, who haven't won on home ice since 1961. You come out there on that red carpet like you always do. The atmosphere is a little bit nervous because they lost the last game. Everyone's kind of feeling, I don't know what's going to happen here. You're out there. How do you go into that singing that anthem? What do you do? How did you feel about hyping up the anthem for a Stanley Cup win?
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, the atmosphere is so charged up already. It's electric, and the crowd is tremendously loud. They put a sound monitor once in United Center, and I forget what it was, 22 decibels or something like that, which is apparently as loud as a shotgun blast, but it's sustained, and you come back to it over and over again as the crowd really goes like that, and you can't help but just being really moved by it. So you're walking into that kind of energy with a crowd that's just stoked. And honestly, you got to detach yourself. You just got to say, that's for the fans. I'm here to do a job. You got to detach yourself, or else you oversing or you choke up, and you just don't do the performance the way that you're supposed to do it. So it's just like doing the Indy 500. My gosh, I mean, 300,000 plus people there and millions and millions on TV. You can't think about that. That doesn't help you do your job. So you stay professional, you stay in yourself, you do your job, and you hopefully create a great experience for the fans.
Awesome. All right, Jim, I just want to say thank you for coming on today. It was a real pleasure hearing about all the programs that you're in. And then as a Chicago fan, Chicago Blackhawks fan, going to every game, it's a pleasure hearing you sing that national anthem, and the meaning behind it, now that we know, it's so much more, honestly.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's been a great thing to be part of, and the Blackhawks have been great in kind of capturing what that's all about. So it's been a great thing to be part of.
All right, Jim. Well, I guess that's it. You have anything else you want to plug before we leave?
No. Well, let's see. I got an album coming out in May with Frank Catalano, who's kind of a jazz saxophone great from Chicago, but he plays internationally. Just won an Independent Music Award for his album Bye Bye Blackbird, which he did with David Sanborn and Jimmy Chamberlain from Smashing Pumpkins. So it's a real honor to be able to try to come out and do something with a guy like that. So hopefully we'll have that, we'll be promoting that as we get around the Indy 500 race time. So
all right, Jim.
Look out for that.
All right, Jim. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet, guys.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you for Jim Cornelison for coming on the show. When we come back, we're going to get wrapped up in the East. We'll let you know. I don't know who's going where. Who's going places. This is the Penalty Box, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Hey, it's Chris Reese, and I am so glad to be back at IMS. I graduated back in 2007, started my career at US 99.5, started working with Lisa and Ray. I was the producer there for about 7-8 years, and I am so glad to be back in the building teaching some new students here, getting them back doing Adobe, getting over that fear of talking on the radio. And it's Chris Reese, night guy on 101.9 The Mix, and I am IMS.
After a long and grueling winter, April is finally here, and you know what that means.
This field, this game, it's a part of our past, Ray. Baseball.
That's right. The America's pastime has finally returned. Tune into the K-Trey Show every Monday night from 7 to 9 only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com as we keep you up to date with all the latest Cubs and Sox news throughout this baseball season. That's right. Tune into the K-Trey Show every Monday night from 7 to 9 only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
It's here. It's here. It's finally here. Opening day. The 2018 MLB season is upon us. And here on Deep in the Dugout, you know we are beyond excited. We will break everything down from Sox, Cubs, and everything else around the league. Tune into Deep in the Dugout Mondays, 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Santa Maria! Baseball season is here, so what are you guys doing getting ready for it? I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm listening to Herd Himself with Amber and Joe, Wednesdays from 4 to 6 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. I'm listening to what they're doing when it comes to the White Sox, the Cubbies. They're going to break down the north side, the south side, bring the sides together. It is a wonderful back on the Herd Himself every single Wednesday, 4 to 6, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Is Rizzo back? What's happening with the White Sox? Herd Himself, Wednesdays, 4 to 6.
So you want to be in broadcasting, but you don't know where to start? Illinois Media School is a great beginning. If you want to work in front of the camera or mic or behind the scenes, IMS will help you prepare for a career in broadcasting in just 8 months. And financial aid is available for those who qualify. So what are you waiting for? Call the Illinois Media School at 312-884-8000, 312-884-8000, or visit the website at beonair.com.
Nothing moves the blob. You know how John Cena for the past few weeks have been calling out Undertaker, telling him to do something? Hey, Kawhi, say something. Say something. I'm giving up on you. They're giving up on you. It's time for the first ever Bob Bob Show freestyle. You ready? Psych, I ain't doing that. Tune into the Bob Blob Show with me, Bob Blob, Wednesdays from 11 to 1 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
How's it going? My name is Edgar Ibarra, and I'm very grateful for all the knowledge I received at the Illinois Media School. My 15-year career in radio has been a dream come true. I'm a radio DJ, I'm on the air, and I get to be a program director for 2 radio stations in Wisconsin. My dream became a reality with the Illinois Media School. Illinois Media School is a great school with great teachers and former students now working in the industry today on the radio stations you listen to and on the TV stations you watch every day. Illinois Media School, check it out. For more details, beonair.com.
I couldn't have said it better myself. This is Jonathan Hood, instructor at the Illinois Media School, formerly Illinois Center for Broadcasting. So many reasons for you to consider Illinois Media School: financial aid for those who qualify, real-world hands-on experience, internships, and so much more. Don't just take my word for it. Set up a tour at one of the 2 Chicagoland locations. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports to learn more. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
Previously on the penalty box. With 1 week left of the season, who's going to the playoffs?
Last game of the year, Brent. Can't hold anything back now.
Find out who we're taking this week in Golden Knights Gambling Gurus.
And it's going to be legendary.
Join us for 3 guys, 2 hours of hockey, and 1 goontastic show. It's the penalty box with Hot Take Nikos, the Iceman, and the Goon. Tuesdays from 2 to 4 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Hey, Chicagoland Prodigy here. Don't get an uproar of a rare store with us. We take you home in the foul 4. Make sure to join me, Charles Prodigy Ritchie, Sid the Kid, Ralph Hill, or Corey Barber every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. and on deck as it's opening week in baseball.
Backhand!
Don't forget to miss out on all the NFL updates in the offseason.
Welcome to the internet, my friend. How can I help you?
And more. Only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Oh, my!
You're listening to ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. It's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Chicagoland Sports Radio Sports Update.
At 3 o'clock, I'm the Goon with your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. For more information on careers in broadcasting, go to beonair.com. The Blackhawks have off today, but we'll play the Blues tomorrow night as they only have 3 games left. And also, Blackhawks news, Jonathan Toews will not play for Team Canada in the World Hockey Tournament, or whatever you call it. Cubs lost 1-0 to the Cincinnati Reds yesterday. Tyler Chatwood had himself a pretty good outing. except for walking 6 in 6 innings. The two teams face off again at 5:40. John Lester will be on the mound against Cody Reed. The White Sox lost to the Blue Jays 4-2 last night. Wellington Castillo hit a pair of home runs, but it wasn't enough. Miguel Gonzalez takes the hill against J.A. Happ at 6:07. And the Bulls will face the Charlotte Hornets tonight at the United Center. Tip-off is at 7 as the Bulls look for their third straight win. This update is also brought to you by the University of Chicago Men's Baseball. The next home game broadcast will be April 7th when they take on Central at 12 and 3 p.m. For more information, visit athletics.uchicago.edu. I'm the Goon, and you're listening to Chicagoland Sports Radio. It's not just sports, it's a way of life. Welcome back into the penalty box. Pretty good first hour, if I may say there.
I would say so myself that was a pretty good
first hour. That's underselling it like crazy. Yeah. Now we're having a good show. We're having fun. Just had Jim Cornelison on the show, so if you missed it, you can view our
YouTube channel.
Yeah,
YouTube channel. You can look up the penalty box. We'll have the whole show on there. So if you're interested in hearing the interview over, or in case you missed some in-depth analysis, it's there.
Yeah, right. I like that idea. As always, you can follow our show Twitter. For some reason I forgot to plug that
at the penalty box CSR. You can go on there, or you can follow me on Twitter at Nikos _Nikos. Or
I'm JD Hicks 88, of course. All day, son. I'm just kidding.
Son. All right, so we talked a little bit about the Atlantic, talked about the Bruins, Lightning, the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs aren't going to win the cup. No. Are the Panthers out? You think they're done? Are they done though? They're 5-4-1. They can't seem to buy a win.
They did just beat Carolina last night.
Whoa. All
right, but that's not really saying much. So,
but who did they lose to the last two games before that? The Bruins, and then I forget who they dropped the other one to. But either way, they lost. They still go against the Bruins again, and the Bruins are looking like they don't want them in the playoffs. So,
do you blame them though?
No. This is a makeup game from a while back. It was a snowed out game, and now they're going to be going against each other. They're the only game of the week on that last day of the season, and it's going to be just Boston versus Florida.
Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday. And I don't know. I think the Bruins are going to address their full lineup out there. I don't think they're going to even risk if they let Florida in and they come back to bite them. I don't think they would risk that. I think they're going to pull out a pretty good lineup, and they're going to end their season. Which we go back to who's going against who. Boston also go against St. Louis as well, so they can end both their seasons.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nuts how it's going to end up being one of those kind of situations. Anyway, let's go talk about the most underrated team in the league, the Washington Capitals.
Ooh, that's a hot take right there.
They are super underrated. Nobody's talking about them. They have 103 points. They lead the Metropolitan Division.
They actually clinched the Metropolitan Division for the third time in 3 years.
Yeah, that's
3 straight.
Nuts.
Sorry, that was my way of saying 3 straight.
They've been amazing.
And you think about the Washington Capitals in a way, is everybody wanted to start to sort of write them off when Holtby was, struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for them, Grubauer kind of righted the ship a little bit. And then Holtby comes back last night against the Blues. And I don't know, for those of you who don't follow our Twitter, we live tweet hockey games for the most part. Yeah. All right. Capitals fans were going nuts. Holtby probably has a warrant for his arrest for grand larceny on some of these saves that he was making.
It's nuts. He was just playing. Somebody taught him some acrobatics or something the last 2 days, because he came out. It was just, I heard you guys won the goal. No. He had a .944 save percentage last night in the game. So he was crazy.
It was like the SpongeBob movie back then, like in 2004, where Patrick's just sitting there with his mouth open, like,
what? Yeah,
wow.
He was absolutely lights out. And that was one of those games where, it was nothing for the Capitals. They had nothing to play for.
No.
And they came out and no, I don't think they weren't that good defensively. But Holtby was like, all right, well, if you guys don't want it. Do you see after the game, there was this little, after they won, he laughed out loud and he was like, and they all came to hug him. He looked like he was crying, laughing. He was like, finally, I did good.
Well, right. And not only that.
Sorry, not to interrupt you, but geez, think about it. the Capitals haven't had a really good. Hope he hasn't been good this whole season. Imagine if he turns it around right now.
And not only that, but like usually he's like rock solid in the regular season, and then if that script changes and he's lights out in the playoffs, look out for the Washington Capitals.
That changes everything. Maybe he's did this on purpose. Maybe this whole season he's just been kind of like, maybe if I don't play good, I could do good in the playoffs.
Are we inspiring memes today?
I don't know, but
you can't lose in the second round if you are terrible the whole season.
Yeah, that's nuts for real though. Think about it. I really doubt that he's doing that to himself.
No.
But I mean, honestly though, the Capitals as a whole team, they've been really underrated this entire season, I think. I mean, looking at it too, I mean, Penguins. I feel like no one's really talking about the Penguins either.
No.
I mean, I don't even need to name who's on that team. So that team's still crazy good.
Guy.
Yeah, some guy.
Matt Murray hasn't been playing that bad as of late. I'd like to see him maybe give up a little bit less. You know, at least the couple games that I've watched, the rebound control just has been a little bit shaky and whatnot.
They should have kept Fleury and traded Murray.
Wow. That's a hot take right there.
I know that he's a lot younger. I know some people are going to be like, what? But Nico. No. Think about it, man. You have consistency with Fleury. I know he's 32, 33 years old, but you still get like maybe 3-4 good years out of him. You still develop a goalie then or trade for one. I know it's easier said than done. But in general, I mean, you had Matt Murray flying high on a cup win. You know, he had great stats in the finals. And I mean, if you would have traded him for, I think you needed defensive help, and I think you had the $3 million cap. I'm just spitballing here, but
no, I hear you.
In general, I think they should have kept Fleury over Murray.
And that's, you very well could be right on that. Chance of a three-peat this year. What's the percentage of a chance you think that happens?
I don't know percentages, but I think that first round. If it started right now, it'd be Pittsburgh versus Blue Jackets. I think that's a win. And then I think that if it was a Capitals versus Flyers situation, if I'm not sure if that's the playoff, but how it's looking like right now, I think I would assume that Capitals would win that, and then it would be again Capitals versus Pittsburgh. So I think that's the series that everyone's gonna look at again. If they beat Washington, I think that's a good indicator. But then again, they got to go against someone who's in the Atlantic,
Right.
Then you got to go against either. I mean, who wants to go against the Leafs, Lightning, or Bruins in a 7-game series?
Not me.
I know it's crazy. Lightning and Maple Leafs both have one of the most high octane offenses in the league, and the Bruins are just so much depth. It's great. They don't have a lot of like big scoring, but it's just every line can score for them. And it's like you take one out, another worker ant comes in they come and score a goal. Let's just say hypothetically, knock on whatever this material is, Pasternak goes out, they will put in Donato up there and he'll score you a highlight reel goal. And it's craziness. Rick Nash out, they had all these players out. They didn't skip a beat.
I got to tell you, seeing Ryan Donato come in after the Olympics and play as well as he has is really something to see. It's remarkable.
It's crazy. And like I said, it just goes to show what kind of depth they have. But going back to the Penguins, I think that Western Conference is it for them. I think they make it to the Western Conference, and that's it. They're done. Obviously, they're done after that. But I don't think they're going to win the Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the Eastern Conference final for sure for them.
Who do you got in the Atlantic, though? Who would you choose out of the Atlantic? So if I was going to choose right now for the Western or for the Eastern Conference Finals, I would go with Pittsburgh versus I'm gonna say Bruins. Pittsburgh versus Bruins.
I have Boston in the Stanley Cup final this year.
Okay.
And I've talked with a couple of my friends, and they're all like, "Well, what about Tampa Bay? What about Pittsburgh?" And I'm like, "No, like I'm trying to go with a different team and a different state of mind." Okay. I just think Boston struggled a little bit throughout the season, but now that it's like crunch time, they're willing to do whatever it takes, and they're putting that pressure on themselves when they need a big goal, and then they're going to get it. Tuukka Rask, playing lights out after struggling, and there was sort of some questions around that. I could be very wrong, but I don't know who's able to stop Boston in a 7-game series.
And also for Boston, I think it depends on what how McAvoy or Charlie McAvoy comes in. If he's not up to playoff speed, you have Carlo coming off an injury. This is over some pretty big minute crunching defensemen for the Bruins, and I mean Chara too. Chara, I feel, is good for regular season right now, but he needs McAvoy to come in there and help him out. It's a big question mark on the Bruins defense there, but then again, Tuukka Rask has been covering for them. So, and then they have scoring to outscore their problems defensively. So they have the puck the entire time in the offensive zone. So I don't think it's a big deal because the offense masks their defensive woes. But then again, in a 7-game series, you have to be good all around to win the Stanley Cup.
And just real quick here, if Boston can keep Brad Marchand from doing anything stupid, they will have a better chance. I don't know if you saw that he was fined the $5,000 maximum penalty.
You saw that video of what he
that
did?
Was, and I'm not.
Disgusting. It was absolutely
It was disgusting, and there's no place in hockey for it.
I understand. McDonald comes in. It's a battle in the corner. I'll put the situation up. So the puck goes in the corner. Marchand goes for it, and then of course, McDonald's going to go and push him up against the boards. The puck squirts out, and then McDonald falls back down, right? And then he looks to go get back up. Marchand he double hands his stick and shoves it back into his face, like stick to face, full force. It's just, dude, come on, man. Like, are you serious? You're really gonna sit there and do that? What's going through your mind? I know it's a game. I know you're putting your mind into it, but are you kidding me?
And this is where the players' safety board needs to take a look at these type of plays. It was a few years ago, and it was in the playoffs. Aaron Asham actually did that in a game when he was playing, and
for the Rangers, right?
Right. I think it was Rangers Devils, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that series was disgusting too. I mean, I don't even know that. Go ahead. What are you saying?
But yeah, I mean, so if you're going to suspend Aaron Asham 5 games for that, why are you letting Brad Marchand go ahead and skate by?
And you're gonna suspend Cogliano, who had that Iron Man streak, for a 2-second late hit. Are you kidding me? Like, that's nuts. Marchand should be, at this point, you should be smarter. But of course, the guy's gonna. That was just a disgusting play, and I really hope that someone goes after him in the playoffs.
And you know what? And I was just about to say that. I don't want to hear Boston fans cry when people are taking cheap shots at Brad Marchand.
I hope they do. I really mean. I hope it doesn't put the other team down. But I don't want to say I hope. He's the only guy I could say that I wish that someone goes after him and just knocks him out.
Right.
Like, just punt. I don't know. Like,
knocks him out. You don't want him to have like a career-ending injury. But
I don't know. At this point, I think everyone's just kind of like, well, dude, whatever comes to you, you deserve.
Right.
And it irritates me even more that he's the best Boston Bruins player.
Well, arguably. I don't get it. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But when we come back, we're going to talk some end of the season awards here on the Penalty Box with Hot Take Nikos and the Goon. You're listening to the Penalty Box, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
I got started at IMS here as an instructor a couple years back after I heard a couple of people I worked with were also instructors here. I'm always here if you need help with developing what you're passionate about. And that's what most people come here for. They have a passion. They want to do something. They want to do radio play-by-play. They want to do sports talk. They want to do updates, whatever it may be. My name is Freddie Huebner. I work at ESPN 1000 as a host and sports anchor, and I am IMS.
Radiant to half and a drive to right. Go, baby. What were you saying, Jimmy? Yes, sir. Go! The season has begun.
Hey, it's Ben from Late Nights with Ben. The Cubs are off to a hot start and baseball season has officially begun. Tune in every Thursday night throughout the season to get Cubs and White Sox analysis. Also, the NFL draft is right around the corner, so we'll see if the Bears can build on an already busy offseason. So tune in to Late Nights with Ben every Thursday night from 9 to 10 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
April showers, they bring the flowers that bloom in May.
That
That's right, sports fans. April is here, which means two things: baseball season and playoffs.
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
You heard it here first. The NHL and NBA playoffs are just around the corner. Tune in to the Nightcap every Monday night from 9 to 10 p.m. with Tim and Ben to catch all your latest playoff news and baseball action. Only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Hey, Chicagoland Prodigy here. Don't get in an uproar, but rare store with us. We take you home in the foul four. Make sure to join me, Charles Prodigy Richie, Sid the Kid, Ralph Hill, or Corey Barber every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. and on deck as it's opening week in baseball.
Backhand!
Don't forget to miss out on all the NFL updates in the offseason.
Welcome to the internet, my friend. How can I help you?
And more. Only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Oh, my!
Are you ready?
The Rising Feminist Wrestling Show gives fresh opinions about WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, WrestleMania 34, and of course, so much more. This is made from a fan to the fan. The Rising Feminist Wrestling Show is more than just highlights. It is where you can hear the honest opinions about wrestling, promos, and its wrestlers. So come join me, Stephanie, on the latest in wrestling every Thursday from 2 to 4 on Chicagoland Sports Radio. It is not just sports, it's a way of life.
Previously on the penalty box. With 1 week left of the season, who's going to the playoffs?
Last game of the year, Brent. Can't hold anything back now.
Find out who we're taking this week in Golden Knights Gambling Gurus.
And it's going to be legendary.
Join us for 3 guys, 2 hours of hockey, and 1 goon-tastic show. It's the penalty box with Hot Take Nikos, the Iceman, and the Goon. Tuesdays from 2 to 4 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Hey guys, it's Choco from the R&R Show here, and we switch to a brand new day of the week. Now we're on Mondays, 4 to 6 p.m., and join us as we have to discuss opening week for baseball. And let's not forget our second hour as we switch gears and talk about esports, which will include the finale of the NorCal Regional Tournament for the top fighting games. And finally, we're discussing League of Legends' crazy playoffs for the North American LCS. So once again, join us Mondays, 4 to 6 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Get back ESPN 1000 because it's time for the Raphael Young Show. No playoffs for the Bulls and Blackhawks, but we do have the Cubs. And the White Sox.
That ball hit hard. Giller's hit way back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yeah.
Tune in every Monday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. It's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Time to kick off your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Tom Waddle, ESPN 1000.
Don't waste another minute in a career you don't love. You can be the next great announcer, DJ, producer, or TV reporter. You'll learn key skills from industry pros while working with professional equipment on air and behind the scenes. Still need to keep the 9-to-5 job? Their flexible class schedules can work around any schedule. Short on cash? They have very affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. You'll have access to amazing internships and job placement assistance when you graduate at top radio and TV stations like ESPN. Learn more at beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
That's right. We're back here on the penalty box. I'll take Nikos and the Goon.
What up?
All right. So, in case you haven't heard the big news, the Vancouver Canucks have announced that the Sedin brothers of Daniel and Henrik will be retiring at the end of the season. It's pretty big news concerning them. They've been in the league for a long time. They don't look like they've aged at all.
Yeah, I kind of feel, I don't know. It's one of those things. I feel kind of, it sucks that they didn't get to win the Stanley Cup. You're never going to see us again in NHL. 2 twin brothers being able to just know where one is on the ice and just make magical plays when they were in their prime. It was nuts to see them play. I remember in 2000 when I first really, really started watching hockey, like seeing who everyone was. Henrik and Daniel Sedin were at their prime. It was that 2009, 2010 season. It was just craziness. The amount of just pads. The guy was one guy would throw it between their legs, and then Daniel would score it, and then you see them. They would beat the Vancouver Canucks offense, and it was just craziness to see it. And you're watching these guys on TV with your mouth open. You're like, how?
Right.
And they're twins. It just makes it even better because it's like, wow, how are like somebody? I remember having somebody watch a Vancouver Canucks game with me, and they're like, wow, those two guys are really good together. And I was like, yeah, and they're twin brothers. Like, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's just nuts. I guess the real question, at least for me, is now that they're done with their career. Congrats on a great career,
Absolutely.
by the way, too. You guys were the Vancouver Canucks for a while. Not that they're listening, but in the case, do you think they're Hall of Famers together?
You know what? I would go ahead and say yes. I think they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Listen, you don't have to win a Stanley Cup to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I think if we're going based on stats, listen, Daniel Sedin has 391 career goals, 647 assists for 1,038 points, not to mention 85 game-winning goals. You go to Henrik Sedin, and of course...
Henrik Sedin has 240 goals, 828 assists for 1,068 points in 1,327 games.
Right, and then, looking at some of the other things here, he's got one hat trick. I believe this is Henrik. Yeah, Henrik. One hat trick in the 2009-2010 season. Plus minus 167. He's a plus 167. That's 7th in the league. His best career year for plus minus was in 2009-2010.
That was a crazy season.
Yeah, and he was plus 35. That was 8th in the league. So, I mean, you look at some of these guys, especially with the Sedins, and I think they have what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, both of them played over 1,300 games. I mean, they played their entire career for the same franchise. Keep in mind too, they were drafted in Vancouver. They stayed in Vancouver. I mean, I think if you're gonna induct Eric Lindros, who let's just say he had like 6 solid seasons as a dominant NHL player. You look at them, they had the same amount. They had from 2005-06 to 2000, I'd say 2010-11 was their best seasons. For Daniel, he had 84. He had 71 points in 06, 84 in 07, 74 in 08, 82 in 09, 85 in 10, and then 11 he had his career high, 104. And then Daniel, obviously, they work together on that same. They have correlating stats, to say the least. It's just, I believe they're a Hall of Fame caliber. And I mean, he won a Hart. I believe Henrik won a Hart trophy, and I can't tell you how amazing it was to watch those two guys play. And I think they should be, as soon as they're available, to become a Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, they're Hall of Fame worthy, absolutely. Yes. And then you think about that 99 draft. All right. They both go first overall. Daniel went second. Henrik went third. Could you imagine, and only because it's the end of their career, could you imagine seeing them on 2 different teams?
I can't. I mean, that was just craziness enough that in that draft, Patrick Stefan ended up going first overall.
Oh, wow.
And if you remember, he's the
Dallas,
guy. Yeah. We won't bring it up.
Well, you won't, but I will. So there was a game back then. It was the Edmonton Oilers versus Dallas Stars. Patrick Stepan steals the puck. He ends up falling, not putting the puck into the empty net. Needless to say, the Oilers go on and score with like 2 seconds left. It's on every hockey blooper.
Yeah. It's nuts to think that Atlanta would have had Daniel Sedin if they didn't if the Vancouver Canucks didn't trade their entire team to Atlanta, which I guess it worked out in the end, right? 1,300 games in, you're 1,000 points.
They got 2 guys, and Atlanta doesn't even have their hockey team anymore.
All right. Well, speaking of I guess no hockey teams. Going off of like Henrik Sedin, said they won the Hart. Who do you got for trophies this season? It's such a highly debated thing this year. I mean, it's craziness how everyone's fighting over everybody. Who's going to win the scoring title? Who's the most important player?
We might as well start with the Calder Trophy, which is the Rookie of the Year. I'm leaning more towards Barzal
Yeah,
from the Islanders.
If Brock Besser, I've been such a Brock Besser man that flow though. I've been leaning on Brock Besser this entire season, and it sucks that he got injured. I mean, you can't. I've always been one of those people that's like, well, I know injury sucks, and you can't really put in together like a whole season, you know. But at the same time, you know, I think he would have won this. He had the most goals. He was going on a 40-goal pace.
Yeah.
And I mean, Barzal almost has 80 points, so no one's gonna beat him there.
No, and you know, back when the season first started, you know, when Clayton Keller, I almost just said Caden, Clayton Keller came on the scene, I was on the Clayton Keller hype train.
Yeah, I was too. I mean, he was awesome. He was the only bright spot for that team.
Right. I
mean, they're not like they'd done anything else really. No, from that. I mean, he's still think of it. The guy's still. Are they already done with their? No, they're not. This season, I mean, he has 63 points still. Which is still pretty. He's the top scoring rookie in the Arizona Coyotes franchise history.
So yeah,
that's something to think about in the voting as well. You know. Otherwise, all right. Who do you got for? All right, Vezina. We were talking about the Vezina.
Vezina,
Yeah, I got Pecorine. Yeah, it has to be Pecorine.
I think you almost have to go with Pecorine, and that's not even a question.
All right, Art Ross, McDavid.
Yeah,
Art Ross is the top point scorer. Where did McDavid come from? I said it last week. He had like 54 points in 37 games. This week, you know, he scored even more points. So the guy's nuts. I can't even explain like how. Even I mean, I know these games don't mean anything for him, like, but at the same time, it's kind of like you can't discredit the guy who's playing in the NHL, who's the top leading, scorer,
and he's doing it literally all by himself.
Yeah, I mean, I will always, forever, and always believe that he just generally dislikes Lucic after.
Well, and it was funny because NHL on NBC Sports posted something on Facebook about the Hart Trophy race, and should he be considered, and I was like, well, he's the Hart Trophy winner of the Edmonton Oilers, if it's any consolation.
You cannot make the playoffs and be the Hart Trophy winner. The Hart Trophy is the most valuable player.
Absolutely.
I think it needs to go to somebody who's on a playoff team, and I think going into that, I think it's Taylor Hall. If he makes, I don't know if Colorado makes playoffs, Nathan McKinnon. Absolutely. If they don't, then it's going to be Taylor Hall. For sure.
And I think those are two great players who have sort of stepped up. The only reason I would have to waver more towards Taylor Hall is because Nathan McKinnon, I mean, yeah, he had to deal with the whole Matt Duchene thing, him being a cancer in the locker room and whatnot. If it was a resiliency award, I'd have to give it to Nathan McKinnon, but I'm leaning more towards Taylor Hall.
Yeah, I mean, he was injured too, so just the fact that Nathan McKinnon has he's only played 72 games, has 94 points.
That's
crazy.
Insane.
Then the guy next to him, Claude Giroux, he's played 7 more games, has 1 more point to him. And then the guy behind him, Anze Kopitar, 80 games with 91. Like, there's no doubt about it. Taylor Hall has 89 points in 74 games, so they both miss a significant amount of time. And I mean, both of them are very worthy candidates for the team. I know the difference between points with Taylor Hall. He has over 30 points. There's like a 30-40 point difference between him and the closest guy.
Real quickly, Jack Adams.
Gerard Gallant.
I was going to say.
Come on. John Turrell. No.
There you go.
Thinking the nice man.
Ooh.
No, I'm saying it has to be. It's Gerard Gallant's trophy. You can't. How are you going to lose that?
Absolutely. All right, well, that's where we're going to have to leave it there. When we come back, we'll do a little bit of Did That Really Happen? And then what do we got later? What do we got coming after that?
Who you got?
What do you got?
Who you got for the team? It's a new segment.
All right.
Who you got? It's replacing the gambling guru with who you got?
Who you got? All right. I like it. We'll be back here on the Penalty Box, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com with Hot Take Nikos and the Goon.
Chicagoland Sports Radio Sports Update.
At 3:30, I'm the Goon with your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. For more information on careers in broadcasting, go to BeOnAir.com. Cubs lost 1-0 to the Cincinnati Reds yesterday. Tyler Chatwood had himself a pretty good outing, except for walking 6 in 6 innings. Two teams face off again at 5:40. John Lester will be on the mound against Cody Reed. The White Sox lost to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 last night. Wellington Castillo hit himself a pair of home runs, but it wasn't enough. Miguel Gonzalez takes the hill against J.A. Happ at 6:07. The Bulls will face the Charlotte Hornets tonight at the United Center. Tip-off is at 7 as the Bulls look for their third straight win. And the Blackhawks have off today, but will play the Blues tomorrow night as they have 3 games remaining in the regular season. This update is also brought to you by the University of Chicago men's baseball. The next home game broadcast will be April 7th when they take on Central at 12 and 3 p.m. For more information, visit athletics.uchicago.edu. I'm the Goon, and you're listening to Chicagoland Sports Radio. It's not just sports, it's a way of life. Back here on the penalty box, it's time for Did That Really Happen? Did you see last Thursday, the Blackhawks started Colin Delia, all right, because Anton Forsberg got hurt.
That wasn't a big deal, yeah.
Scott Foster, who the NHL mandates that you have to have one emergency goalie that can play for either team this season. And Scott Foster, a 36-year-old accountant, got to play in the game, making 7 saves. I got to tell you, it was probably the most exciting game I've watched all season.
That was nuts. I was, I guess, a little sad about Delia before we keep going. No, he's the first goalie to come up from the ECHL this year, and he's one of the first ECHL goalies to debut in March too. So I mean, not a big Delia there. I will ride that meme out forever. But yeah, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that this guy wakes up in the morning. He's gets his coffee, goes to his day job, and then goes to a Blackhawks game like usual. And they're like, "Hey, we kind of need you down there." Your whole I would freeze up. They're like, you got to go against these NHL players.
And Brendan Seabrook, talking about how he's in their locker room getting dressed and, called him cool as a cucumber, which I was like, I haven't heard that expression in a while. But, it speaks to, the guy is
demeanor,
right? He's able to be very calm. His interview was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Not only that, but, just a very humble guy, saying that he could have had a really bad game. He still got to accomplish his dream, and I think that's really important.
He did more than that. He played an NHL game and made some serious saves. Like there was, I'm not gonna lie. Like not all of his saves were like craziness, but at the same time, these are NHL players. They're shooting the score. So I mean, it may look like nothing to us because we watch these guys and they're best in the world. This is a 36-year-old accountant who plays in beer league, guys. Any shot that's against them is a hard shot. I bet he felt every single one of those shots, especially that glove save. He went to go make a glove save on Buffalo, and it popped right off his glove. Because it's like, no way. He's like, whoa, that was the hardest shot he faced his entire life.
And they asked him, so were you scared when Buffalo shot that? And he's like, well, it definitely didn't feel good, and I was a little worried about that.
And he made that cross ice. That was a crazy cross ice save. He made a serious save. That was nuts. I didn't get to catch the whole game, but I heard about it and I went to go turn on the highlights. It was nuts. He made he literally cross ice save. Everybody was on their feet at the United Center. That was absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. Did you have anything crazy happen that you wanted to talk about quickly?
Well, I guess hockey related. I was, of course, watching the Maple Leafs game. And it was the game a couple nights ago. Well, actually, last night. What am I saying? Last night is the Buffalo versus the Leafs. And in that game, I was tweeting, and there was Austin Matthews and Willie Nylander. They're just so dirty together. Like they make these. It's like watching Henrik Sedin and Daniel in their prime. They just make these cross ice passes. Things are going nuts. Anyway, during the game, Willie Nylander gets the puck from the point, and he just cross ice, perfect pass into an empty net for Austin Matthews. And Matthews just looks over at him, and he just gives him this sly smile. And Willie's just like, "Oh yeah, baby." You can read his lips. He's like, "Oh yeah, baby."
That's awesome.
And then on the bench right after that, they're looking at each other, and I'm like, boy, their chemistry is better than any Nicholas Sparks love story.
Wow, that's a hot take right there.
They're so good. I think they're one of the best duos in the league when they're together.
Absolutely. But yeah, be interesting to see what they do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I really hope that they got to make it out of this first round. I think it's disappointment if they don't.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're debuting a new segment called Who You Got? Who You Got? Stay tuned. Penalty Box coming back at you on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com with Hot Take Nikos and the Goon. We'll be right back.
Time to kick off your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000.
People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
Nothing moves the blob. You know how John Cena for the past few weeks have been calling out Undertaker, telling him to do something? Hey, Kawhi, say something. Say something. I'm giving up on you. They're giving up on you. It's time for the first ever Bob Show freestyle. You ready? Psych, I ain't doing that. Tune into the Bob Blob Show with me, Bob Blob, Wednesdays from 11 to 1 on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
After an exciting tournament, we turn the page to what should be an epic baseball season. I'm Jay Pfeiffer, and myself and Lakina McGee bring you the latest news and notes from around the major leagues. With the NBA playoffs and the NFL draft approaching, you can't afford to miss all the coverage on Second City Sports every Thursday from 12 to 2 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Chicago sports in 2017 may have let us down, but 2018 figures to be a whole lot better, starting with the Loyola Chicago Ramblers making it to the Final Four.
And the Chicago Cubs are poised to have an amazing season this year as well.
Also, the Chicago Bears have made moves to make themselves stronger for the 2018 season.
Get your favorite Chicago sports news every Wednesday on the Chief Seats from 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Iceman, for the crime of never being on the bench warmers, by the power invested in me by ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life. You have been damaged. Balance has been restored to the bench warmers. We'll have Big Meech and sometimes the Iceman. Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. It's here. It's here. It's finally here. Opening day. The 2018 MLB season is upon us. And here on Deep in the Dugout, you know we are beyond excited. We will break everything down from Sox, Cubs, and everything else around the league. Tune in to Deep in the Dugout Mondays, 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Santa Maria!
Tune into Students of the Game, where Dr. Joseph Gregory and Dr. Christopher Rouse know how to overcome heartbreak.
They broke my heart, and I'm heartbroken. But I'm here doing this show because I'm trying to be a professional. Not from you. Not from you. I had hugs yesterday. Not from you.
Students of the Game, Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Sean Lang with the most action-packed 2 hours on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the Fight League Report. On June 9th, UFC returns to Chicago for pay-per-view the first time in 10 years. UFC 225, headlined by middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, defending his title against Yoel Romero in a rematch. Will the Reaper be victorious again, or will the Soldier of God become champion for the first time? We will break down the card and have exclusive interviews leading up to this event. The Fight Report, Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
I've been in the radio and broadcasting business a long time, more than 3 decades, and I thought, if I spread my knowledge and shared what I know about the business with a lot of young minds, maybe I could get some of those people involved. And my dad talked to schools, and I thought I could do that too, and I could do it all in one place at Illinois Media School. I've been having a great time. I tell everybody I'm learning as much from the students as they learn from me. I am Eddie Volkman, and I am IMS.
Back here on the penalty box, debuting a brand new segment called Who You Got? Who You Got?
Oh, wait, really quick before we start that. Who you got for the I can't think, the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy?
Rocket Richard Trophy. That's
most goals in the league right now. Number 1 is Ovi with 46 with 2 games left. You got Patrick Laine, who has 79 games. He has 43 goals. He has 3 games left. And then I don't know. You got Malkin with 42, Carlson 42.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think here. The Capitals, who they're playing to end the season, I'm gonna have to go and steer towards Ovechkin. I mean, he's just
monster.
He's unreal.
You think he's gonna get 50? Think he can score 4 or 2?
That is that's a tough one. And they play Washington in their next game.
Who? Winnipeg?
No. The Capitals play Nashville and New Jersey.
He could score against New Jersey. Maybe
he can score. He's good for a couple against New Jersey. I don't know that he has any in him against Nashville, but I could be very wrong on that.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his stats, the last goal he scored was on March 26th, and then he's been on a 4. He scored 2. He's had a 4-game goal scoring streak, and then he went off 2, scored that 1 goal, and then he's been off. And then he scored last night against St. Louis. So
did he?
Yeah, he scored 1 goal. 1 goal.
It was the empty netter. You're right. I'm sorry.
With a -2. All right. Well, you got the games pulled up right now. Let's do the who you got.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me pull this up real quick, and we'll see what we's got.
Yeah, I mean for Alexander Ovechkin too. I think it'd be a pretty cool thing to just hit 50 just to have it.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, if you're a 50-goal scorer in NHL, you're a pretty big deal.
All right. We got New York Rangers at New Jersey Devils. It's King Henrik against Keith Kincaid.
At Blockade.
Yeah.
We say it every week. Go to his Twitter account. You won't be disappointed.
No.
I think. I still think New Jersey's still kind of uneasy about making the playoffs. So I think you gotta win that one. So I think the Rangers. I think the New Jersey Devils are gonna pull out a 3-2 win.
Okay. I'm gonna take New Jersey 5-1.
Okay. Let's see.
All right.
Taylor Hall with 5 points. 5 goals.
There you go. We got Flyers at the Islanders, and it should be. I had the goalie.
That should be a high scoring game.
Mrazek versus Grice.
Well, no, both of them can't stop pucks, so it should be like a 7-6 game. I mean, I don't know what score. I know it's gonna be high scoring game though. So, but I think the Islanders are gonna pull this one out. It's gonna be like 7-4 or something like that.
Oh yeah. Red Wings at Blue Jackets. It's Jimmy Howard versus Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah, Jimmy Howard's been pretty decent the last couple games, so I think that the Red Wings going to pull out maybe he's not been so hot. I'm not sure. I remember the last game I saw he got a shutout, so I'm going off of that. I think it's going to be a Red Wings win.
I'm also going to take the Red Wings. I didn't say who I was taking in the last game. I'm taking Philadelphia.
Philly? Okay.
Taking Philly. I'm going to take Detroit. Columbus, yeah, they have stuff to play for, but I think Detroit's going to play spoiler.
Did they clinch last night?
No.
They didn't clinch yet? Oh, well, maybe this is something they want to play for. I don't know.
True.
I think it'll be a good game. I might end up watching it.
I'm still going to take Jimmy Howard. Yeah. It's always nice to have the NHL app on your phone. Winnipeg at Montreal. Carey Price versus Steve Mason.
Okay.
Yikes.
Of course they put Steve Mason against the worst scoring team in the league. So I don't even know. That's such a bad game. That's such a bad game. Winnipeg?
Yeah,
no one's gonna watch that game.
I'm gonna take Montreal, and
Why?
I'm gonna take Montreal in overtime. They're gonna score on
2-1-0.
Steve Mason. Yeah, it's gonna be 1-0 in overtime on a leaky
middle of the
5-hole
ice.
goal.
Oh man.
Only in the playoffs.
Oh boy. That's brutal.
Man, that's funny.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a brutal game. I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Winnipeg.
All right, I'm gonna go with Montreal just for the heck of it. This one though, we talk about bad games. This is a very good game. Marquee matchup between Boston and Tampa Bay. Tuukka Rask versus Andrei Vasilevsky.
Why are they still playing Vasilevsky, man? Give the guy a break.
Because they want to win the President's Trophy.
Just let him take a nap. Like, stop playing the guy.
Just like what their team does when Louis Domingue plays.
Yeah.
We thought Steve Mason was bad.
Oh boy, yeah. I guess you really can't play your backup because it's an automatic loss. That sucks. That's brutal.
Now you know what it's like to be a Blackhawks fan.
That's brutal.
Oh man.
I don't even know. Boston. I guess. I feel bad for. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I think the defense is gonna let up for Tampa.
3-2 Boston.
I'm gonna go with a 4-1 win.
All right. Nashville and Florida. Now, Florida needing a win turned to James Reimer against UC Saros.
I think that they're not saying anything, but I think Luongo is injured again because the last couple. I'm not sure if he was put on IR. I could be completely wrong. If he is, then this whole statement's irrelevant. But they've been playing Reimer the last couple games nonstop, so he might be injured again. Maybe they're just not saying anything. But relying on Reimer to save your season potentially is something that's kind of I don't know how he didn't save the season for Toronto. I know that for sure. But maybe he hasn't. I don't know. They've lost their last couple games too, so.
It is a back-to-back. Luongo did play last night.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he stopped 27 of 29. So, I mean.
Did they win last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would just ride out Luongo. You have 3 games left. I mean, you're playing for your playoff lives here, so I would play the hot hand. I think Luongo's been the hot hand the entire season.
Yeah.
When he hasn't been injured.
So, who you got?
Who I got? I gotta say Florida. I want Florida in. So I want Florida to win this one.
Me too.
I'm gonna go with a overtime win, shootout win.
All right.
I got a shootout win for Florida, 4-3.
Okay. I got Florida 3-2.
Okay.
All right.
That was all the games for today?
No, we got the Golden Knights on the road against the Vancouver Canucks.
I don't even know.
Vegas.
I hope that they just play Daniel Sedin those two on the first line for the rest of the games that they have, and just let them do their thing. They're both. I think one of them has 52 points, the other one's 48. So I mean, I hope both of them end up with 50 points.
Goalie matchup is Malcolm Subban and Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
So Vegas is still gonna win.
I want Vancouver to win. So I want Daniel Henriksen to both have 3-point nights. And I think it's going to be a great 5-1 win for the Vancouver Canucks.
Although, let's see here.
They'll make the
they do have one more home game left after tonight, and it's against the Arizona Coyotes.
Is that their last game or no?
No, they play Saturday against Edmonton.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that game on Saturday for sure. That's their last game. So yeah, I want Vancouver to win the last 3 games. So I mean, I know it will hurt their draft chances, but they've been winning a couple games here and there this last couple weeks. So
very true.
It's not unlikely that they don't win.
Let's just see here. I'm just curious. Okay, so yeah, even if they were, they would need Chicago to lose out if they wanted to take the 12th spot in the conference.
Yeah. Well,
so it ultimately, like you said, won't hurt their chances. I was just curious on that.
I want the City to come out and just play their heart out. Give them first line minutes. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares
your
about the
season's
matchup?
over. Your season's over.
Put them out.
We got Arizona at Calgary. Antti Ranta versus some guy named Gillies.
Oh yeah, the goalie of the future.
Flopping like a fish. Arizona's got this.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I'm not gonna watch that game.
I'm not either.
I'm definitely not gonna watch that game.
We got one more game tonight. Kari Lehtinen in net against Martin Jones. It's Dallas and San Jose. Who you got?
Dallas, win a game. Just win it.
San Jose.
Just win it for your fans. Be productive. Do something with your lives.
Wow, that's harsh.
Is it harsh?
No, it's not harsh. That's the last game of the night. We'll do a couple. We got what? 3 games tomorrow.
Well, we got a couple. I kind of want to talk about some other things.
Let's go ahead.
I mean, who do you? So I'm looking at the points leaders right now. You got McDavid 103, Kucherov 97, Malkin 96, Claude Giroux 95. Did anybody see that coming?
No.
And I don't think anybody's talking about that either. That's crazy, man. Where did he come from this season?
I have no idea. I just crazy.
He got switched from center. I thought he was done. I thought he was done after last season. I thought he was just washed up. He's gonna be a third line player. They're gonna buy him out this season. He comes out this year, 95 points. He is. I bet you someone's gonna revive the Giroux's better than Crosby talk.
That's a bold statement right there in itself. But
yeah, I mean, he 95 points is a pretty big accomplishment. He's 5 points away from 100, which is not a small feat to hit. So
and he's been better this season because he's been healthy.
Right. And again, I mean, the guy, he's awesome this year. Nathan McKinnon, man, I know everyone's talking about Nathan McKinnon, but man, how lucky, I guess, not lucky, but how good is it to feel you're an Avs fan? You finally see Nathan McKinnon come into his own. You see Mikko Rantanen come into his own. Landeskog's finally becoming 60 point, whatever.
Right.
But
right.
It's crazy. The draft, I think a couple of years ago, everyone was undoubtedly happy that Nathan McKinnon got drafted first overall. But at the same time, it was like he didn't really show that he was that first line potential.
And now I think you're seeing it this season.
I mean, obviously 94 points. Nuts. He's a first line center for sure. And I hope he keeps up. I hope he consistently puts up these kind of points every year. And imagine if he did miss those games, he would be number 1 in scoring.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
I mean, even looking, oh god.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Even going the guy right underneath him too, an unbelievable story. Anze Kopitar, 91 points. I thought he was done too last season. How crazy is that? The guy had 50 points last season. He was just he looked so slow. Looked like he lost 3 steps. It was just done so. And he comes in, he's 91 points this season. And I'm not sure if this is a career high for him, but I believe the point totals for him is crazy too. He has 91 points, and then right underneath them is Drew Doughty with maybe 60.
Yeah,
which is not even close at all.
No, absolutely.
So, I mean, I think even too, let's just say hypothetically, if New Jersey's not going to miss the playoffs. Let's just say hypothetically, maybe I don't know, but hypothetically speaking, I think it's a 3-horse race between Taylor Hall, Kopitar, and McKinnon for that Hart Trophy race, just because the point differentials between each player and what they mean to each team is something that's pretty big.
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely say so. This is going to be crazy. This is our last show of the regular season.
Oh, it is. Wow.
Yeah, that's nuts. We'll have to.
What did you think of this NHL season? What would you rate this NHL season? Would you say this was one of the most interesting seasons?
I got to tell you, from a competition standpoint, I give it an A.
An A?
Yeah.
Okay.
My team wasn't in it, but you got to see some teams that you normally didn't, who are starting to have more and more success. I'll give you Toronto. The fact that now they're sort of establishing themselves as a powerhouse team here in the Eastern Conference and in the NHL.
Right.
I got to be honest with you. The biggest surprise for me, and everybody sort of doubted me when it came to talking about this, but did anybody foresee Anaheim climbing back into the wild card race? Because it seemed like a couple months ago they were down and out.
I mean, I never count out the Ducks just because they have the experience to climb themselves out of a hole. And I just feel like once they got Getzlaf back, they got their Hampus Lindholm back on track. You get Gibson healthy. They're a contender for the Cup.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I didn't really foresee them not being good, but at the same time, I felt it was just. I always see Anaheim in the playoffs, and I can never see them not there. So
true
to see them fall that much, it was kind of like, well, oh yeah, and Kessler too. And it's kind of like, well, you have your two first line, you have your first and your second line center out, your top defenseman out, and your goalie's injured the first 3 months of the season. Well, I think everyone was kind of like, okay, well, I guess I kind of expected that.
Right.
So I think I think for me this season, it's just been, again, I'll bring it back to the beginning of the show. It's been a whole bunch of disappointments for the Western Conference. I mean, Dallas not making the playoffs now, Calgary dropping the ball, Chicago going from Western Conference top team to not making the playoffs, Oilers being crowned Stanley Cup champions and not making the playoffs. I mean, even for like the Eastern Conference too, like the New York Rangers dropping off, Islanders just blowing up, and I mean, I might be missing. I'll even throw in the Arizona Coyotes, but that crazy losing streak they had. This season's just been a bunch of like letdowns, but at the same time, it's really awesome to see Winnipeg finally come into their own, finally become a top team. Which I think last year, if they had good goaltending, they would have been there.
Nashville proving that that last year's Stanley Cup run wasn't a fluke. Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. And even the Vegas Golden Knights, craziness. I mean, I think I'm already adjusted saying how good they are, and I mean it's crazy to say that they didn't even have a team last season.
True.
So I mean they're up there now. So I think those are pretty big. And I mean, even though Pittsburgh's not a top team right now or this year, I don't think it's been. I think they're still considered a Stanley Cup contender. So they could win a third. They could win a third cup, which would cement themselves as a dynasty in this whole season.
All right, well, that's where we're gonna have to leave it. We're all playoffs next week,
so remember, if you want to follow us on Twitter. Follow our Twitter page at the Penalty Box CSR.
Yep.
You follow me on Twitter at Michaels_Nikos. That's MICHALS_NIKOS. You can follow Mr. James the Goon over here at JDHICKS88. And and we have a YouTube channel too, so go look up the Penalty Box on YouTube, and you should find our whole one video there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great day, everybody. We had a good show. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Hey, it's Chris Reese, and I am so glad to be back at IMS. I graduated back in 2007, started my career at US 99.5, started working with Lisa and Ray. I was the producer there for about 7-8 years, and I am so glad to be back in the building teaching some new students here, getting them back doing Adobe, getting over that fear of talking on the radio. And it's Chris Reese, night guy on 101.9 The Mix, and I am IMS.
After a long and grueling winter, April is finally here, and you know what that means.
This field, this game, it's a part of our past, Ray. Baseball.
That's right. America's pastime has finally returned. Tune into the K-Trey Show every Monday night from 7 to 9, only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, as we keep you up to date with all the latest Cubs and Sox news throughout this baseball season. That's right. Tune into the K-Trey Show every Monday night from 7 to 9, only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
It's here. It's here. It's finally here. Opening day. The 2018 MLB season is upon us. And here on Deep in the Dugout, you know we are beyond excited.
Fall season is here, so what are you guys doing getting ready for it? I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm listening to her name so it can break.